So Sharon, we hear, I think both you and I, as well as our sales team and our CS team, all the interest, right, in AI role play. There's a lot of market opportunity about AI role play, but the interesting thing that I think we've both been encountering and thinking about quite a bit is that role play is great, but you absolutely cannot stop at role play. That there's so much more possible with AI avatars, and that stopping at role play really is stopping short in terms of what is possible for businesses that use it. What are you hearing in this regard?
Yeah, I think it's a really great question, Wayne. And we are hearing that customers are really, and the market's really seeing the value that AI role play can bring. It's the most realistic way to prepare for your upcoming conversations that you're having. But it's only the beginning, right? And it's one point in time of your preparation to going to talk to a customer or talk to an HCP. And so there's a lot of ways that our agents and our avatars can actually help reps as they're preparing for those conversations, whether that's pulling in information from their CRM, pulling in those rubrics of what good looks like from their LMS, and combining that in a way that's even more powerful for the reps so they're able to walk in more prepared, more confident, in a very realistic manner.
As we're thinking about role play, what role play AI role play has done is it's sort of created a digital twin or a digital proxy for what should happen in the real world. In the real world, you as a commercial rep should be able to sit down with a trainer or with a sales leader and practice your pitch and make sure that the things that you're saying represent your product well, that you're not saying anything that will fly in the face of compliance and get you or your company in trouble, and that you can truly be certified as ready to go out into the field and start meeting with healthcare providers and having kind of good, productive conversations that are going to grow your business. The ideal scenario is you get to do that with a human being. However, the real world gets in the way, doesn't it? And we know that, in real customer settings with hundreds of commercial reps who all need to be trained very, very quickly, like literally in a matter of days, perhaps a week, hundreds of reps, perhaps even thousands of reps need to be made ready, need to be certified to bring a new product to market. It is completely impractical, I would say, probably impossible to expect that each rep is going to get half an hour, whatever time is required in front of a human being. And even if it were true, no set of human beings could maintain the same exact objective standards across every single one of those sort of mini training, role play, and certification standards. Enter AI, right? And AI avatars. A few years ago, really, these emerged as a possibility to create a proxy for a human. And those avatars sort of generating a synthetic healthcare provider to practice with. And not only practice with, but then ultimately judge a certification round and see if that rep has actually done a good job. And of course, AI being AI and machines being machines, it maintains total objectivity. So if you hit the standard, you hit the standard. And if you don't, you don't. It doesn't matter if you're the first rep to go through it or the 999th rep to go through it, the exact same standard. Practice can happen at any time during the day, in the evening, after the workday, whatever is convenient for the rep. And then certification can also happen whenever, right? And this, I mean, I can say from my experience here at Quantified, this has made training and certifying, literally hundreds or thousands of reps over a very short period of time, days, weeks, possible. And this truly was not possible just a few years ago. So when we talk about role play, when we refer to the AI role play market, that's what we're talking about, is this innovative use of AI avatars to create synthetic humans, healthcare providers to serve as a target, if you will, for those human practices and certifications to occur. Um, super cool, right? And
It's also where we see reps actually practicing more. So if you only were able to practice with your manager, you're self-conscious, right? That's a little bit of a moment of pressure. But with the AI avatars, what we see within Quantified is reps are practicing at magnitudes level more often because it's a comfortable space, it's a safe space where they can try out different techniques and really hone their craft in a way that they wouldn't be able to do with a peer or a manager.
now you've been with Quantified for a while, so you've seen a lot of evolution in terms of what's been possible with AI avatars and what state of the art is. Sometimes it's hard to tell if you're actually speaking to a real human or an avatar. Of course, as humans, we're really tuned to what facial features should look like and reactions should look like. But the
Yeah.
avatars are getting really good, right? Latency is, getting close to non-existent. Facial expressions are really good and well tuned to kind of what emotional inputs and outputs really should be. What are some of those advances that you've seen over the years in the improvement of the avatars? And it could be advancements in how the commercial rep experiences the avatar. It could also be in how training teams are developing their trainings and sort of how good those are and how smoothly that process goes.
We've really seen the advancements in avatars across the market. And so they look a lot more realistic, the way their facial features are, the way they listen. Before it used to kind of be choppy, you could just tell that there was a robot listening to you. But now it feels a lot more natural in how they respond to you or when they don't respond and they're just listening to you. The emotional expression has become a lot more advanced, both visually within their voice as well, and the kind of the natural cadence between you and another person speaking back and forth. There's been a lot of advancements there as well. And so with this, we've seen that a lot of the partners that we work with are able to take advantage of that and apply it to a wider range of use cases than they were before. So certainly that case of talking with an HCP or whoever you're selling to and having that be a really realistic conversation, but also able to apply it to more nuanced moments as well. So whether that's working on leadership training for managers, like those conversations can be very sensitive. And so having that realistic avatar as your partner in those situations goes a long way in helping you improve your ability to coach someone and train someone as a manager.
When I think about how far AI role play has come and how widely deployed it now is, it makes me think, well, that statement that I made at the opening that, role play is really, really great, but you can't stop there. Why did I say that?
Yeah.
And I think, the key reason is when you think about avatars and you think about role play, certainly in life sciences and pharmaceutical companies, the focus is on recreating or creating a really incredibly realistic interaction with a healthcare provider, right? And then assessing how did that interaction go? Did the rep use the right kind of language? Did they not overstep their bounds from a compliance standpoint? But the thing that is really amazing is that I think we have figured out how to take AI avatars and go beyond just having them recreate the healthcare provider.
Absolutely.
And many of our customers have sort of pulled us in this direction that these avatars can function in a variety of different ways. They can literally take on a variety of human roles. And just like companies were searching for ways to add greater scale to their training and certification effort by saying, hey, we don't have enough humans to do this, and we know humans can't be objective across hundreds and hundreds of reps, so too are companies limited in their capacity to coach reps, right? If they
Yes.
understand their gaps and where they have opportunities to continue to grow, well, the only way that they can do that is to coach against that knowledge, right? So I think the next big opportunity that we see, and the reason we say it's like role play is not enough, is the opportunity to take these AI avatars and turn them into AI coaches, right? We have the power of agentic AI, and developing not just healthcare provider proxies, but proxies, digital proxies for coaches and coaching.
Role play is the best litmus test of am I ready to go into the field? Am I prepared for this? But there's a lot that's happening before and after that to continue the development and to really make every rep President Club ready.
Mm.
And so imagine if you had a coaching partner with you every step of the way, from when you first join and you're first learning the material, through when you're applying all that material in your role play, through when preparing to walk into your first meeting and you're sitting in your car thinking, what am I going to say? What am I supposed to do? After your conversations with your HCPs and thinking about what are my next steps, we can have AI be that partner with you every step of the way, just like your manager would be there if they could, but they can't do that for everyone. And so the AI there is really an extension of what every manager wishes that they could do to support their team members.
So what I'm hearing is um, there's sort of a life cycle that
Yeah.
reps have inside a company. The life cycle kind of often starts out with the idea of kind of onboarding, right? How do they get the basic skills, um, and then certification, in pharma, the drugs and the indications, and speak about those intelligently. And that's great when you're just starting out, of course, but like, how does how does this have benefit to those reps who are tenured as the avatar evolves from simply simulating the HCP to simulating the coach, that there's an opportunity to add value, not at just the beginning of the life cycle of the rep, but even in the middle or the end of the rep life cycle, where somebody is deeply tenured, knows how to sell, but there are still gaps in their performance that could be closed. Is that right?
Absolutely. And when we think about the same pattern we saw with role play, where reps were able to practice more and they felt safer doing that, a tenured rep isn't going to ask a question that they think they should already know. And they don't want to admit that maybe they forgot something or they want to double check something. And so having that AI coach there and that AI partner there with them along the way, again, they're going to be able to continue to up level their performance because they can always ask their AI a question. Their AI is going to be there to help making sure that they're covering all of their pre-call preparation steps that they need to, even if they're in a rush. So it's really going to be that best friend to your tenured rep so they can just do what they're good at even better.
The thing that people are still kind of curious about, or that they question, is the efficacy. Like, can AI really step in and do this? Number one, will their commercial reps actually do this? Will they sit down at their computer and interact with a simulated human, whether the human is the healthcare provider or the human is a coach? What are you seeing with regard to like actual adoption and things that might even get in the way of adoption in this regard?
It's funny you should ask that because I actually talk to reps pretty often to hear, what are the biggest challenges they're facing? How could we help improve their lives? And one of the biggest, most consistent pieces of feedback we've gotten is, I wish I could just have this AI in my pocket with me every step of the way.
Mm.
And that's exactly what we're planning to do. So
Mm.
whether you're on the road, you're at home, no matter where you are, we're in your pocket, we're available on your phone, on your tablet, on your laptop, wherever you might be wanting to have that lightning strike of start practicing something or ask it a question or do a follow-up post call with your HCP, we're there with you. And so we're meeting the reps where they are and we're really listening to the pain points that they're facing. I want to build product that gets used. That's what makes me happy. So we're working with our reps, we're working with our customers, and they're telling us where their pain points are. And we're going to make sure that we're able to make their daily lives better so they can focus on achieving the best sales outcomes possible.
I wonder if you could talk a little bit about how we make reps field ready, and sort of how we measure that they're at their best to be their most successful.
Yeah, I think there's a couple components in it. The first is, for you to do your role play well, and then you're there for your conversation with your HCP really well, you need to know your stuff. And so we're taking a step back to say, what's the first thing that you need to do? You need to understand what your sales methodology is, the clinical data around it. And it's not just that you've read it, right? It's not just about the completion of it, but really to have you comprehension around that content. And so we're pairing all of that with your AI avatar. Avatar can teach you components of it. You can ask questions. We'll be doing little quizzes along the way to make sure you're really fully understanding it so that by the time you're putting it all together and applying it in a role play, you're achieving it at a much higher level initially. And then as we see where maybe your gaps are through that process, through that role plays, we can redirect you to the information that you might have missed. So all of that is just to prepare you to get ready to be in the field. Now, once you're going into the field, we also want to make sure that we're pulling in all the resources that are available to you. So we already know, how you should be performing well, but we can tie that into the specifics about who you're about to talk to. So what can we extract from the CRM, or what can we integrate with the CRM so that we can have you hit the messages and prepare for the objectives that are going to be most relevant for that specific person? And can you practice saying them out loud or preparing them again so that when you walk into that room, you know that you're going to nail it?
Fantastic. I think one last and really important point, and this, I think this is going to speak to the power of AI and how we're harnessing AI within our tool and how we're using it in a really unique way within our platform. One of the most powerful concepts when attempting to teach people, coach people, get the maximum performance out of individuals is the concept of creating a classroom of one experience.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about the way that training often happens, is it typically in quote unquote the real world, it happens in a classroom setting, right? And there is a teacher, a trainer up front in front of that classroom, and they are tasked with making sure that 15, 20, 30, 50, 100, several hundred, 1,000 people understand what they're trying to get across. And that's nearly impossible because every individual sits down at that classroom, enters that room with their mind and their skill set in often radically different places. And the ability of that teaching effort, that training effort to span all of those means that some reps get exactly what they need. Some reps are tremendously bored because they already know it all, right? And that's the enemy of good training. And if you think about coaching, coaching works best when it's one-on-one. It's hard to have coaching that really understands each individual person, again, their strengths, their gaps, their weaknesses, etc., in a large setting. One-on-one is the best. And the really cool thing about what we've been working on lately is this concept of adaptive AI, right? And it's
Yes.
something that that is unique to us. It's unique to Quantified in our approach, and it sort of performs the miracle of creating literally a classroom of one experience, a coaching session between coach and the human, where the AI understands the baseline performance of the rep and modifies, adapts its behavior to match what the rep needs, exactly what they need, based on potentially even pretty real-time data. I'd love for you to talk a little bit about this innovation and why it's so important in both the role play aspect and the coaching aspect and how that interplay works.
Yeah, we want to meet reps where they are. And whether that means you're an experienced, tenured rep, or you're new to that therapeutic area, we want to make sure that's really personalized to what you know and where you need to get to. So that by the end of working with your AI avatar with Quantified, every rep is proficient, prepared, and ready to go talk to field in the field to HCPs and continuing to improve their skills as they become tenured reps. So we make sure that our AI is personalized to what you already know, where your biggest gaps are, and where you need to continue to work on, whether that's in your onboarding experience or whether you're in the field and we know you need to keep working on your closing and remind you need to do that before each meeting. So we can be there and it's going to be personalized to each individual rep to make sure that they're hitting the company's bar of what good looks like. And what we've seen with this is that reps get faster, 40% more. So 40% faster time to their readiness here, which is a really big impact for them.
It's unbelievable.
It is. It really is.
Adaptive AI is where it's at in terms of really leveraging the power of AI to, as you said, meet the reps exactly where they are and give them only what they need.
Absolutely.
Role play really is great. It's fantastic. It's super powerful, but you absolutely cannot stop there. And if your investigation about role play stops there, you're cutting yourself short. There's so much more opportunity to take this powerful technology and point it in other directions to really address that whole life cycle of the rep, from beginning reps to tenured reps and beyond. So Sharon, thank you so much for bringing your expertise to the table here in this discussion.
Happy to be here.
I hope that everyone has really enjoyed this conversation, learned a little bit more about role play and the possibilities of going far beyond role play and bringing the AI sales coaching power into the mix. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Wayne, for having me.